Hello friends, this is Wendy with Love and Stampin'. So we are going to talk about the precision glue press today, and is it worth the hype and worth purchasing? I have several samples to show you in this video, but we are going to talk about this. So here's how the precision glue press comes. I've had lots of questions about this from my Misty video that I did, which I'll link here. But I did a Misty video, and I cannot tell you how many people have messaged me or emailed me and asked where I got this and what is it. So I thought everybody knew about it, but I guess not. And so I want to share with you. This is the precision glue press from My Sweet Petunia. It is a glue gun, essentially, that sits on your desktop. You can leave the lid off and leave this sitting in your holder right here, and it will keep from clogging for the most part. We'll talk about that. And yeah, there's a link below this video if you want to purchase one of these. So I've added the link there, and it's over on my blog. Let's get into these samples, and we're going to talk about the glue press while we do that. So I'm using the fresh picked products from Spellbinders today. I saw these in multiple videos by other creators, and I just thought they were absolutely beautiful, and I love paper piecing stuff together. So I die cut all this stuff and then ink blended it and then created some beautiful cards with these products. Here I went with a black background, which I think just is absolutely stunning. And we really make some gorgeous cards today. Here you can see I'm using my precision glue press along with my tweezers. And you can see this video is sped up extremely fast in parts, and there's parts that are not going to be sped up. This video was originally 2 hours long, so I had to edit a lot. And truth be told, I wanted you to see the process, but there was no way I could show it to you in real time because the video would just be way too long. Okay, so here you can see I'm using the precision glue press for everything. So let's get into talking about the precision glue press a little bit, and I'm going to jump back and forth kind of talking about the cards I'm making and how I decided what I was doing and those types of things as well. And there are, like I said, many samples in this video. So I've been using the precision glue press since before it was released because I am on the My Sweet Petunia design team. So I've always loved the Misty products, and when this was released, we got it early so that we could start using it. Used it right away, but I couldn't show it in videos. I did do a video sometime back showing all the ins and outs. Actually, that was the clip at the beginning of this video is from that video. But since that time, I've learned some things and I have some opinions. So let's get into that. First and foremost, I have learned that while, yes, the precision glue press does not clog very often, it will clog. And I don't know if that's based on my environment, and let me explain that. The place that I craft, my craft studio / office, whatever you want to call it, is not in my home. It is detached from my home. In 2020, my husband built my shop or my craft studio. And we did that because at the time I still am, doing this for a business. Here's the first card. Isn't it beautiful? I love how it turned out. We're skipping back to the card really quick. I'm going to add some of these silver pearls, and this card will be finished. And I gave this card to my sister-in-law for her birthday, and it just reminded me of her. And of course, when she opened it, she was like, "This is my favorite card you've ever made." So here on this card, I used one of the little extra things that I had stamped. I'm going to stamp in Night of Navy ink, cover it in clear embossing powder, and heat set that sentiment to make it glossy. You can see that I stamped on the card to begin with and then didn't end up using that sentiment. Truthfully, when I stamped it, it just was too bold. Really quick, that happy birthday sentiment that I die cut, let me look. It's from Concord and Ninth, and it's the Everyday Expressions dies. And then the sentiment you see me using here is from Altenew, and it is from the Daisy Crown set. I think that's what it's called. Daisy Crown? Yes, Daisy Crown. Here I'm using my corner chomper that I've had for umpteen million years, and I'll link to it below the video. If you're new around here, there are a lot of new faces here, so welcome. I do a link below the video that says supplies, and then you click that link and it'll take you to my blog where you can see photos of the cards I've made along with a supply list. Currently, I am a Stampin' Up demo, and so right now I'm not an affiliate with anybody except for My Sweet Petunia, and I just want to make sure that that's very clear. Yes, I link to lots of products, but I do not earn any affiliate sales from those products except for My Sweet Petunia. And affiliate sales don't cost you anything extra. It's just a way to help out the creators that create all this content. Okay, so here we're using, my goal was to use every single set, and I did just that. And so for this card, here you can see the precision glue press at work on all these little fine lines. So let's get back to talking about the glue press. So I live in Northern California, so my climate is extremely dry. There's not a lot of humidity where I live. And I have found that if I leave my precision glue press in my craft room, which does not have heat or air conditioning unless I'm in it. Now, let me explain that. Here, by the way, we used a fun embossing folder from Altenew and smushed all those together to make those look quilted. So basically, my environment is not heat or air controlled unless I'm in it and then I run the heat or the air. It has the ability for heat and air, but obviously, I already told you I live in California, y'all, so you know that means I pay a bill that is obscene to just about anybody for PG&E. So I can't be running my heat and my air in a craft room that I'm not in. So when I come in here, I turn the heat on or the air on, depending on what time of the year it is. And so all that in between time, it could be really, really cold in my craft room. It could be really, really hot in my craft room. And the precision glue press has held up really well, but it occasionally will clog, mostly in the summer, I've noticed. And that has been when I have not crafted for more than like 3 or 4 days. So the habit I've gotten into is if I don't think I'm going to be in a creating space, then I will just put the lid on and leave it, and it's fine. It's no big deal. However, if I use my precision glue press daily, I have no issues, no matter what time of year it is, or even every couple of days. The second thing I have found is when my glue bottle gets close to being empty, it is more likely to clog. Let me explain my theory behind this. I don't know if this is true, but this is my theory. When you're setting your precision glue press in its holder, the tip of the precision glue press meets up with a little silicone bubble that keeps it from clogging. However, as your glue in your bottle gets less and less and less, then what happens is your bottle gets lighter, right? So your holder, your glue press, and your bottle is getting lighter. It's weighing less. So there's less pressure coming down through the needle of the glue press into the silicone bubble. So what I found is when that happens, you just have to be a little more mindful to place your glue press into the holder properly. If you put it in there like cattywampus, then it definitely is going to clog because there's like not enough pressure pushing the needle of the glue down into the bubble. Okay. The other thing I have discovered is that when I put my glue press on, if I'm in a hurry and I'm setting my glue press in the holder and I'm like rushing around or whatever, I have noticed that I don't get it in there correctly. And then it will clog because it's not meeting up with that little silicone bubble that is in the bottom of the holder. All right, really quick back to this card. I just want to show you. I put these 2 stacked dies from Spellbinders, and let me give you the name of it. I have them all sitting right here because I knew I wouldn't remember the names. Fresh Picked Sentiments. I stacked those together to make a shadow, and I put them on top of a 1-inch strip of vellum, and then I glued only behind the sentiment die cut, so you can't see any glue through the vellum. I'm adding a few more of those silver pearls, and then this card is finished. I really love this card, and I sent this card to a very good friend of mine. She doesn't have it yet, so I'm not going to say who it is, but she sent me something lovely, so I sent her this. Okay, we're going to talk about this technique that I'm going to show you really quick. This was the fussiest of all of the fresh picked dies that I used. You can see here, I'm really fussing around trying to get everything lined up just right. And basically what I did is I just followed the front photo of all of these dies. I didn't try to come up with my own arrangement. I just followed the photos because I wanted to use them as they're intended first. I do that often with dies because I feel like it kind of helps you realize like other ways to use them. I'm sure I will use these dies in future videos, but for this video with so many samples, I just wanted to copy the front using my own color schemes and some of my own ideas. So for this card, I got everything situated the way I wanted it to, and then I'm going to use a method called the Hinge technique for applying all of these bits and pieces that are so dainty. As you can see, they are there's lots of very thin, dainty lines, and that makes it hard to glue because they're skinny. So we're going to address that with the glue press. And B, it makes them hard to handle. And then, so could you imagine having to pick up each individual one of these, trying to glue them and trying to get them back in the right place? You see what a time I'm having, and this is not slowed down, this is real time that I'm showing you, what a time I'm having getting them placed just right so that they all fit on here the way that they're supposed to. So the best thing for me to do in this scenario was to use the Hinge technique. I find that this technique is absolutely brilliant for many, many uses. In today's case, I only needed it for my base pieces, and I actually used it twice. But it is brilliant. The little tool you see me here organizing everything with is called a crystal katana. I've actually had a couple of people in videos say I didn't understand what you said. It's a really fun name to say. So it's crystal, CRISTAL, katana, KATANA. So here I've got a piece of press and seal. I'm going to pull this out, and I went a little bigger than needed because I want to make sure I get everything on here just right. So here's the technique. You're going to lay the press and seal over the top of all your die cut pieces that are arranged very carefully, and you're going to push it down. Then the ultimate technique here is to make it hinge. So here I'm just moving a few parts around that didn't get where I wanted them to. So once we get everything kind of in place, as you can see, I'm fiddling with some stuff. I'm going to then create the hinge, and here's how you create the hinge. You have to push, see how it just moved? You don't want that. So you're going to take the edge of where you want this to stick to, and you're going to rub your finger nice and, now you may not have to do this on your surface. I had to do it on mine. So now it's stuck down to my surface. So when I pull this up and away, you can see that it's stuck on the surface, and all I have to do is hinge it back and forth. It's like a door. This also gives me a lot better control and results with my glue press. Now let's talk about the glue press in this scenario. To put really fine lines of glue down on pieces of cardstock, die cut pieces like this, can be really challenging. One of the things I love about the glue press is that it has that fine needle point tip. One of the struggles I've always had with needle point tips is that they clog. And I just don't have those issues with this glue gun unless I share the scenarios I shared with you earlier, unless I haven't put it back in the holster correctly. If it's 102 here, because that's, I live in California, so it can get really hot. So if it's 102 here and I haven't crafted in 4 days, yeah, it will clog sometimes. But I also have found it is the easiest to unclog of any needle point tip I've ever used. So I just take the lid that comes with the glue press, which actually nestles right onto the holster or to the holder, and you just push it back into the needle and then you're fine. It's good to go. So that is something I really love. And like I said, for me, this tool has been worth the investment. You see me using it in most of my videos, and the only time I don't use it in today's video is when I'm using something for dimensionals. Now you can see here, if you look close, that some of the glue has seeped out from the edges, and that's just because, like I said, these are really fine little lines that I'm trying to put glue on. So one of the things that I like about this Nuvo glue is that it dries clear. So I haven't had any issues with it like looking bad if I go outside the lines when I'm gluing. So here you can see as I pull away the press and seal, I'm kind of holding things down and making sure they're staying in place. And you don't want to pull straight up on your press and seal. You see how I'm pulling back on itself? It's like I'm folding it back on itself and pulling away versus straight up. If you pull straight up, it's just going to pull everything right off your base. Then I'm just going over everything and pushing it back down with my hand. And the little areas where I just missed getting glue, I'm just adding some glue with my glue press and pressing it back down. So, this video is titled, "Is it worth the hype?" Is the glue press worth it? And should you buy one? I can't answer that for you. What I can answer for you is how incredible this tool has become for me in my crafting. That's all I know to tell you. I personally think it's fantastic. So let me talk about a few of the questions I get. One of the questions I see most often, or comments I should say, is regarding like arthritis or dexterity issues. I do not have either of those. However, in my mind's eye, I would imagine that it would be easier to use a glue press than it would be a little glue bottle because it's larger. Secondarily, I do have a good friend who uses this, who does have arthritis in her hands, who really struggles with arthritis, and she really likes it. You don't have to pull hard on the glue press, like on the little handles part. You don't have to pull hard. It's a very easy, gentle pull. And the harder you pull, the more glue that comes out. So actually, if anything, the lighter your hand is when you pull, the better. So here I was having some trouble getting off this mint tape because I had to run this through my die cut machine several times to get it to cut through all those layers. And it kind of pulled away. It really adhered that mint tape down to my cardstock layers, but it ended up being fine. I was just gingerly with it and got it pulled away. So with this sample, I used some border dies from Stampin' Up! To cut them apart. And then I am going to make 2 separate cards using these pieces where I cut them apart. So this is just another technique. I tried to show you a lot of techniques and ideas in this video, along with talking about the glue press. So you can make a panel like I've done here cut it apart, and then you could make 2 cards out of 1 panel. You could also cut this in strips. You could cut it on the diagonal. I mean, honestly, the options are endless as far as what you could do with it. So the stamp set that I'm going to use for both of these cards is called, let me grab it. It's from Concord and Ninth, and it's part of the Primrose Garden bundle. So this is the stamp set, and it's got a happy birthday, best of luck, miss you so much, sending you so much love, hello, congrats, thank you, and thinking of you, which I really like because that's just like one of those very basic all around stamp sets that I think we all can use. Now, as you can see, I've used on all of these cards the precision glue press. Not only have I used it for all these little intricate pieces like this one here, I'm also using it all the way across my background and gluing my entire layer down. Okay, another question that I get about the glue press is, can you put other glue in the empty bottle and does it work? The answer is yes. I have put Tombow glue in the empty bottle that comes with the glue press, and it works fantastic. So I really wouldn't worry about that. If you have a glue you love and you don't want to use the Nuvo glue, you can fill the other bottle with whatever glue you want and use that bottle instead. Works fine. Haven't had no issues. Okay. This is my last card, and debatable on if it was my favorite. I really couldn't decide, but I really, really liked it. So it's just a simple thank you card using that entire background. I love the colors. I used Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, Cherry Cobbler, Pumpkin Pie, and Daffodil Delight. I will link to all of the products I have used today, Stampin' Up! Included, and you can purchase any of those products from me over on my blog or at the link below the video. Here I'm just using my gel pen to add in some fine details that I honestly think make this card go from beautiful to like exceptional. And I did that on one of my other cards too earlier. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure enjoyed hanging out with you. I hope this helps you decide if it's worth purchasing the precision glue press. I love it. I don't think I could imagine crafting without it at this point. There is a link below the video for it if you want to purchase it and use my link. I will get a little affiliate commission off that, which is always appreciated. I thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.